What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Rican Brothers RaiderNation podcast. I'm your host, Nazo. Haven't had my co-host with me, Anthony, here in some time. He's got a lot of stuff going on, and, I got a jam-packed schedule as well, but I want to bring this to you with the Chargers matchup coming this Sunday, actually, win and get into the playoffs. And I want to just kind of go over the post-game reaction to the Indianapolis Colts game that we came ahead. Despite Derek Carr's shaky performance with the 2 turnovers, I got to get into it right away. And I know I'm going to catch heat for it, but at the same time, the defense has been playing out of their minds, man. And I don't think they get enough credit for it. Just with the last, the last couple games that were on this 3-game winning streak. I mean, they're holding teams to 20 points or less. And even before that, the Las Vegas Raiders defense has been playing really good. So let me just go over here the Las Vegas Raiders and Indianapolis Colts matchup, just because I kind of want to touch on the gist of the game. I mean, we did come out victorious, 23-20. Gotta love it. We're still in contention for the playoffs right now. Derek Carr, to me, yes, he's playing decent football right now, but he needs to elevate his game. The thing that I would like to just take away from that game is he needs better ball security. I know we're winning. So I don't want to hear, Derek Carr led the game-winning drive and this and that. I get it. He did what was necessary in the situation that called for it. But at the same time, he also threw 2 interceptions. When you play teams that capitalize on turnovers, you cannot turn the ball over, especially with this game coming up against the Chargers. As far as the Indianapolis game, the defense, even though they gave up 108 yards to Jonathan Taylor, they did a great job in pass defense. And, there were some burst runs for Jonathan Taylor. He was the one who really scared me in that game, just because he's the number 1 running back coming into that game. I think he still is number 1 overall in the league. And that defense was really good. So our offense actually came in really strong. Got to give a shout out to the offensive line again. They came to play. They've been coming on really strong and aggressive. They have been pretty much a lot more physical at the point of contact at the line. And, it's nice to see Josh Jacobs getting a little bit more shifty, a little bit more aggressive, even though he's kind of nursing that rib injury right now. He did have a touchdown. And the element of Marcus Mariota getting involved in this game is just something that it really just brings some warmth to my heart, because it's like, finally, we're starting to realize that he needs to be a part of the game plan. He's the reason why we can continue drives, whether it be 3rd or 4th down, because, with this next matchup that's coming up, Brandon Staley, he's going to be going on it for, on 4th down a lot. They're very aggressive. So as far as that is concerned, we need to be equally aggressive. And Rich Bisaccia, we did have that 5-game kind of losing streak that it wasn't like I guess it was a 5-game losing streak. So, at that time, we lost 5 out of 6. I'm sorry, because we won the Dallas game. But, at that time, I thought Rich Bisaccia really didn't have a grip on this team. And, the adversity had became too much. And here we are, right in the thick of it. We pretty much control our own fate. And, we did enough against the Indianapolis Colts, who are, again, going to be a playoff team. As long as they beat Jacksonville, they will be in. We did enough. Hell of a performance by Zay Jones and Hunter Renfrow. Both of them combined for almost 200 yards between those 2 receivers. Jalen Richard had a real critical play that extended a drive, a little dump off pass by Derek Carr. And who's really been falling short for me is Foster Moreau and Deshaun Jackson and Brian Edwards, man. Those 3 guys I think they really need to step up and really get integrated in with this game plan. Hey, if you want to run the hot hand with Zay Jones and Hunter Renfrow, I'm all for it. But we should still be looking to those other receivers because Bryan Edwards is a young receiver. He's a big physical receiver, and we need to get him more involved as he was, at certain points of the season, because I believe, as we saw the last Chargers game, he made some big plays for us, especially with no Henry Ruggs now. We're going to need to find a way to maneuver around that Chargers defense. And again, I want to stick to the Colts game here because I want to give the credit where credit is due. Derek Carr came alive in the fourth quarter. He led, in the fourth quarter, it was a 6-play drive for 62 yards and 3.5 minutes of possession. Hit Hunter Renfrow on a 4th down play. We went for it, and that brought us to 20-17. The Colts got it back. They marched down the field, 14 plays for 52 yards. They ate up a bunch of time off the clock, about 9.5 minutes, kicked the field goal to tie. And, Derek Carr led a little less than a 2-minute drive with that offensive line. They were standing stout, 10 plays, 60 yards. Daniel Carlson, the other DC on our squad, I think has been probably one of the most clutch players for us with everything he's done and the pressure that's been on him. Comes in, seals the victory, 2 seconds left, game over. And here we are, right? Coming down to week 18, Chargers game. It's at home. And hey, listen, it's time for revenge. So let me do what I always do here and pull up the spread real quick. And let's get into it because, I think overall, the biggest storyline for me with the Colts game, as far as, sorry, I'm just adjusting my lights here. The biggest storyline for me with the Colts game was the defense. A lot of 3-and-outs, stopped a lot of drives once momentum started. The defense has been playing amazing the last 4 games, I would say. And, we just need to pretty much continue it. That's all I care about. Just continue with the good defensive play, even though we're missing some key players. Got to give a shout out to my man, Darius Philon, man. Darius Philon's been coming alive. Quentin Jefferson, Solly, and, Yannick and Max Crosby have been doing their thing. I want to see Malcolm Kuntz more involved, man. I really do, because the young core that we have with Malcolm Kuntz, Divine Diablo has been playing amazing, pretty much took over Corey Littleton's job, Nate Hobbs and Trayvon Merrick. Those 4 guys are going to be real clutch on our defense. I think we did a great job of drafting those and identifying some talent there. And, hey, man, Malcolm Kuntz, put him in this game against the Chargers because, the thing is he could be that determining factor as far as, getting more pressure onto Herbert because Herbert's a big mobile quarterback. He's not fast, but he's quick, if that makes sense. He could get outside the pocket and make you pay with his feet. So we're looking at in this game, it's a 3-point spread. The Chargers are favored, even though they're playing in Las Vegas, which is crazy to me. And the over-under is 49.5 points. So, we're looking at the underdog, we're the underdog at home, and it's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all because we actually played better as the underdog. Now, as far as, what the Raiders are, they basically have 7 wins against the spread in 16 games this year. The Raiders against the spread, is 5-3 in their 8 games as an underdog of 3 points or more. And so Las Vegas's games this year have hit the over on 7 of 16 set point totals. It's like 43.8%. So, we're 4-1 against the spread and 5-0 when the team scores more than 26.5 points. So I think that's your number right there. We need to score 4 touchdowns, and 1 touchdown a quarter is not something to ask a lot of. And, I really believe that Derek Carr is going to come down to being the key. It's going to be Derek Carr, the defense against the run, and our offensive line holding up against their defense, the Chargers defense, because let's just put it out there. We're all sick and tired of hearing Joey Bosa. The dude sounds like Spicoli off of Fast Times of Ridgemont High. He's not a favorite of mine and never has been. Him and his brother. I really could care less about the Bosa brothers. As far as that's concerned, though, it's just, hey, listen, it's one of those things where it's like this game says a lot about who the Raiders are in the face of adversity, when it's on the line, when it comes down to crunch time, and belief in Derek Carr. I've been giving him shit all season. He still hasn't met expectations of what he's talked himself up to be versus what he's performed on the field. Because, listen, the biggest qualm I've always had with Derek Carr is his turnovers. He had 2 turnovers last game. I mentioned on my last episode that he turns the ball over just in interceptions, 73% of the games this year. So that only went up with 2 more turnovers this last game, 2 interceptions. 2 interceptions. So it's just like, listen, the last time we played the Chargers, let's just go over it, okay? Because we didn't play well. We had a very, very slow start. So we're going to have to start fast, right? That's the biggest thing, is we got to start fast. We got to be aggressive from the first whistle to the last whistle. We only had 213 total yards. Our rushing attack was absolute trash at 48 yards. We had 3.8 yards per play, and we had half the first downs that the Chargers did. Chargers at 25, we had 13. Our third down efficiency, as far as the Raiders and the Chargers, they were the same on third down, but the difference was the fourth down efficiency. Chargers were 2 of 3. We were 1 of 3. They ran about 20 more plays than us, and we were allowing them to sack us 5 times versus we sacked them twice. Now, the interception that was thrown was big in this one because it did change the momentum of this game that Derwin James had picked off because we were driving at that time. Now, the thing is with Derek Carr is I don't care what happened the last 16 weeks technically because of the bye. This has to be your best game played in order to secure a playoff spot. Then you reset to 0-0. Okay. The defense needs to continue to bring what they've been bringing thus far, these last 4 games, because, as far as I'm concerned, the last 3 games we've been probably the best we have. And this is the best time that the defense is kind of hitting their stride. Now, as far as the turnover margin, we're not well because we have a negative 11 turnover margin, and that's greatly due. Now, don't hate me for saying it. It's greatly due to Derek Carr. Now, the offense has turned over the ball. I mean, we had 5 turnovers in that Kansas City game. And listen, it's not ideal, right? It's not ideal. I know the past is the past. We need to continue moving forward. Raider Nation's going to bound together, and we're going to say, fuck everything that's happened up to this point. We are one as we stand and try to get into the playoffs and beat the Chargers. And I'm all for it, okay? So let me give you my prediction here for the score because I think it's going to be tight. I think the Raiders are going to win this one 28-26, and we're going to get into the playoffs. It's going to come down to the last 2 minutes in this game, and we're going to end up being victorious, okay? I just feel like the defense is going to make a key stop. Hunter Renfrow will put us in a position to where we have good field position, and we'll be able to get in and secure our playoff spot. That is my prediction. 28-26 Raiders. They get their revenge. They beat the Chargers, and the Chargers are on the sidelines. And it's bittersweet because, they did it without their head coach. They did it without Henry Ruggs. And contrary to popular belief, I really could care less who they do it with, as long as they do it because the people who remain on that team is who I root for. I wish all the best for Henry Ruggs and getting the help he needs to get his life back on track after the tragic situation. And I hope John Gruden can get himself some help too, because he really does need it with acclimating to the difference in times and just the way his thought process works. Because I know he's kind of that guy of like old school mentality, and like a lot of things weren't around when he was a coach as opposed to now. But hey, listen, man, that closed-minded mindset, it's got to go. So I really believe that the Raiders will come out victorious. I'm not saying I'm not going to have a cardiac arrest at least 4 times during this game, because I'm pretty sure all the Raider fans, they could all agree with me. This is what we do. We have heart palpitations, throughout the game, and there's highs, there's lows, there's great moments, there's real low moments. But I really think that, and I hate to say this, without Jonathan Abram, we've been great. I don't know what Gus Bradley is going to do differently this game, but I know what needs to happen is we need to focus on that tight end game, and we need to focus on the run as far as that defense, because that defense last time got ate up in the tight ends and the run game. Now, whether or not Jared Cook is going to be playing, I'm not sure, because I don't know his injury status. But let me just go ahead and pull up the injury report for Raiders versus Chargers. So this way we can get some up-to-date stuff right now. So as far as the Week 18 injury report, the Chargers are reporting, let's see here, Joe Graziano still has not practiced. Limited practice for Drew Tranquil, Linval Joseph, Derwin James, and Corey Lindsley are all full participants, so I expect them to play. As far as the Raiders are concerned, Deshaun Jackson, we kind of don't really know about him right now because he's just rested, but it's not injury related. So hopefully he can ramp back up since today's just a walkthrough. Divine Diablo is full participant in practice. Jonathan Hankins probably isn't going to go, just because he's still having those back issues. Josh Jacobs in limited fashion. Andre James, full participant. Quentin Jefferson, full participant. Nick Martin is just doing a veteran rest. Trayvon Merrick was limited because of his shoulder. We got Foster Moreau with the abdomen. He's full. Keyshawn Nixon's a full. Denzel Perryman is limited, which he's going to be a big key in this. John Simpson is a full participant in practice. Sutton Smith full. Solomon Thomas full. Darren Waller is going to be a real big key in this. He's limited, which we'll know more probably by Saturday, I'd say. And then KJ Wright is a full participant. So, the thing is with the Raiders, they've been doing this without Darren Waller there the last 4 or 5 weeks. And that's what's really been impressive about this offense, because Hunter Renfrow has been the go-to, Zay Jones has been the go-to, and Josh Jacobs has been getting on. And this offensive line has really been coming together. And there's one person on offense that I really need to have a spectacular game, and it's not a position player who you're thinking of. It's Brandon Parker. We need everything possible, and we need to pray for Brandon Parker, because he needs to have one of the best games of his life against the Chargers. Because if we can secure up that side, okay, and we can give Derek Carr just a little bit more time, we will be able to be okay. Because the plays that have been happening, Brandon Parker still hasn't been showing us the best. But I will tell you that Leatherwood and Andre James have been stepping up. Andre James has been literally a top 10 center since week 7. And I can't be happy. I can't be anything more than just happy for him. One, because I'm a UCLA guy, and I love Colton Miller and Andre James. So that's besides the fact. But, Simpson, we need him. I remember he was hurt. He got hurt in that game, if I'm not mistaken. And as well, Leatherwood was on the edge playing tackle that game. So he's been at guard, and he's been good. Well, not good, but he's been neutral. I'd give him like a neutral rating. He hasn't been good. He hasn't been bad. He's done enough. But Brandon Parker is really going to be a big key to this offensive line, because Derek Carr needs him. And listen, if I'm Derek Carr, I'm telling him, I'm going to let you know when adjustments need to be made and what's going on with you, because I need your best game this game against the Chargers defense, because the Chargers defense is good, man. You know, their pass defense is great. Run defense, not so much. So I'm expecting Josh Jacobs and Peyton Barber to really do something this game and to really collaborate on a good game. Josh Jacobs is going to be the workhorse, but I'd like to see Jalen Richard implemented a little bit more because, hey, he is shifty. He's a short, stocky back. And I feel like whenever he gets the ball, he actually does end up getting big chunk yardage, and he keeps drives going. I expect to see a lot more Marcus Mariota. And I think in this game, particularly, Marcus Mariota, excuse me. Sorry, I'm thinking a little faster than what I could speak. He's going to be used in some passing plays because they're going to decoy him as it's going to be a run play, and he's going to end up passing the ball a couple more times this game than he has in the past. Just because as soon as Brandon Staley sees him on the field, he's going to think, okay, run. So we're going to do the read option with Marcus Mariota. And I think Marcus Mariota can get himself in position to make some good throws and, you know, potentially help us out even more, because then as he executes that later on in the game, we'll be able to use Marcus Mariota in the run. So it's really playing that chess match that Rich Bisaccia needs to come with a game plan that was one better than what Gruden had going against Staley, because we totally came out flat. I'm not sure what happened, but again, it wasn't at our home stadium. So SoFi Stadium is a different environment, even though we pretty much run LA as well. Everyone needs to come out in full force for the silver and black, and Raider Nation needs to show up. So, you know, if you're a ticket holder, if you're anyone who watches this channel and, you know, you have tickets to the game or you just got it just for this game, we need you there. You know, I really do expect a great performance from the Raiders, because they realize that if they don't win this game, this team can be separated. And I don't think that they want to think about that, but it's on their minds as far as this is the last opportunity they have to not only get in the playoffs, but put together the best performance they can with this group. Because if they lose, you're going to see a lot of turnover. And I can tell you what, I don't know if Derek Carr is going to be back if they lose. It's my personal opinion. Again, you can say whatever you want, leave comments, you know, tell me to fuck off, whatever. I really don't care. But they have to put together the best performance of their whole season right now. And they're trending upward. I mean, the offense needs to step up to the defense, because the defense has been trending upward nonstop. And, you know, my biggest thing for this one is Gus Bradley. What is Gus Bradley going to do to be more aggressive in this cover 3 scheme? Because Herbert pretty much picked them apart and always found the open man. I mean, that's what you got to do in the cover 3, right? You go through your reads, throw underneath, find the open man, and just keep moving the ball downfield. And they're going to take what you give them. So it's all about that pressure up front, which brings me to my next point. Carl Nassib's coming back. Carl Nassib hasn't been there, you know, because he's been on COVID protocol and so on. But I think you need to have Malcolm Kuntz activated. You need to have Carl Nassib active. And you need to have a healthy rotation of Yannick and Max Crosby. And I'd even put Max Crosby and Yannick on one side and then have Malcolm Kuntz on the other and run a 5-2. And then have, you know, 2 tackles, 2 ends on one side and another end on the other, and have kind of that 2 linebacker scheme with Divine Diablo and KJ Wright or Perriman, whoever that needs to be, and then have your best secondary out there. Now, I know Faison is going to want to have a great game because he's motivated. This is his previous team, and I think the first time around, he didn't play as well as he wanted to, you know. And I know he's actually been getting a lot better the more comfortable he is, just with playing time, because I feel like having the on-field experience is always the best thing that's going to make you learn and grow. And Trayvon Merrick, I feel like he's going to be a little bit more aggressive. He's got a better feel for the game. I'm really looking to Nate Hobbs and see what comes about from this DUI, alleged DUI instance that happened, because he's going to be playing. And I'm happy that he's playing. I really dislike what happened, but we don't know all the details. So I'm not going to say it was an alleged DUI charge. At this time, we don't know enough information, but from what the coaching staff knows, he's going to play. He's available. There's not going to be any disciplinary action. And I want to see Casey Hayward have the best game of his career against his former team. And I know it's a lot to ask for, but Casey Hayward is a vet. He kind of knows. He has that sense of awareness around the football. And the ex-Charger players, I feel like they want revenge more this game than, the Raider players who have been here, even though I'm not saying that they're not hungry. I'm just saying I think it's just a little bit more hunger because they got the first time around. Perryman, Hayward, Faison, Phylon. Phylon, I expect to have a great game. He did last time, and I think it really starts all up front and this D line up front. I think Max Crosby comes alive this game. He's not going against the same guy he did last time. The rookie that they have, Darashaw. So Yannick Ngakoue is going to go against him. And I feel like Max Crosby is going to open up a little bit more. And I think Gus Bradley just needs to be a little bit more aggressive, selectively. I'm not saying blitz, 3 out of 4 downs or 2 out of 4 downs. Situational, smart blitzes is what we need to do, because if we're just dropping back in cover 3, they're going to pick us apart all day. And it really comes down to the run stop. So, this is what I expect Divine Diablo to have a good game, and I expect our defensive ends to have a good game along with Phylon. I think he's going to really come to play. And my secondary pick for having a good game is, I think Trayvon Merrick finally gets an interception, in this game specifically, because, Herbert hasn't been the best as far as not turning over the ball lately. And trust me, they have weapons with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen and then Jared Cook, so you got to pick your poison. But I think Austin Eckler, if he gets shut down and there's good coverage on him underneath, I think they're going to start to take some deep balls, deep ball throws. Sorry, that's terrible to throw it out there like that. But I think Herbert takes some deep throws down the field, and I think Trayvon Merrick comes away with one. I could see him or Nate Hobbs coming away with one this game. It really comes down on offense to Derek Carr not turning over the ball, establishing that run and that physical presence up front with the offensive line so we can open up that pass game. And hey, if it needs to be some screen plays to open things up, do it. I'm here for it. Be physical at the point of attack. Get those paws into those linemen up front. And as a D lineman, we need to pressure Herbert. That's what's going to throw him off his game. That's what's going to make them second guess their abilities. And that's what's going to start having Brandon Staley off of his game plan, because he's going to have to adapt and overcome. And I think as a first-year coach, even though he is good and he is aggressive, I think he can get a little wild and just misfire would be the best word as far as his play calling, as it shows. So, it's going to take everything. Special teams, it's going to take defense, it's going to take offense, all 3 phases. So in conclusion, I'm sorry, I just kind of been chopping it up and just talking. I just kind of wanted to get my thoughts out, get some things out as far as what my perspective is. And, I appreciate you all tuning into the channel, Rican Brothers RaiderNation podcast. I love you all for, all year long. I definitely want to get my views up. They're just a little light. And I know it's just been because, I was dedicated to 2 shows a week. Then it got cut down to 1 just because of my schedule. But I still want to do the most I can to still interact with you guys and continue putting out content. And there's a big year ahead. If we win this game and go into the playoffs, as I projected us to win 28-26, there's a lot to look forward to. And there's a lot of things that can come about as far as the coaching staff, and the player personnel moving forward into a new year with more cap space. And I just want to win. I need Derek Carr to not turn the ball over. I need the offensive line to protect him and be aggressive. And I need the defense just to show up because we need them in a bad way. So with that being said, love you all, Raider Nation. Appreciate you tuning in to the Rican Brothers Raider Nation podcast. Let's go Raiders. Let's win this one at home. And most of all, let's win this for John Madden. You know, RIP to John Madden. His family's going to be lighting the torch, his widow, and some of his family members. So I think it's going to be an amazing event, just with the history that's going to touch down in Las Vegas. And let's do this for John Madden. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he deserves all the respect and love as he is a legend of the game and the best Raiders coach to ever walk, you know, within those, white lines for the Raiders, whether it be Oakland, Los Angeles, or Las Vegas. It's still Raider Nation at the end of the day, baby. So this is Nazo. I'm signing off. Y'all take it easy. And let's go Raiders. Let's beat them Chargers, baby.